Sir, stop wasting bullets. Pull your gun in right now. Pull your gun in right now. Wasting ammo for what? Yeah. For what? Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we are back with the season finale of season 2 of Squid Game, episode 7, which is called Friend or Foe. So last episode, we kind of got more into the mental side of the game. There was the vote that happened after, the pretty brutal game that happened, and basically we've got people, almost an equal amount of people who would like to leave the game versus stay in the game. And Gian realizes that the only way they're going to win is if they can influence some people on the other side to change their minds before the next vote. But of course, when you start getting into that type of mentality, it opens the door for people who want to force other people to change their votes. And we see that the episode ended with quite a bit of fighting going on between the X's and O's. So we'll have to see how that all turns out in this episode and whether or not they're going to step in or if we're going to lose some lives here. And also for the outside team, they came close to finding something, or so they thought, but it turned out to be a trap. So now they're going to have to figure out what to do next and whether or not they should continue to search, knowing that the enemy is onto them. So I'm ready to see how we're going to wrap up this season. So let's jump right in. But just before I do, a reminder that if you'd like to be in the know of when I drop episodes, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button, as well as the notification bell, because we're definitely going to be reacting to season 3 when it drops. All right, that out of the way, let's get into the episode right now. I was actually on social media and I forgot that this guy, the guy who just got stabbed here, he's a K-pop idol. I knew I'd seen his face before, but I couldn't place where. All right, I was saying the first one probably wouldn't have killed him, but that one would. First one would have just hurt. In fairness, that was self-defense. Damn, he's not dead. I guess, fork doesn't exactly kill you quickly. That's just slow and painful. Oh, so he goes for the pills. Wow. They were instructed to let it happen. No interference. What a mess. I'm just glad that our main guys were not in there. His fascination with Gian is interesting. No one believes that. Everyone knows y'all are bullies. That's a good question. Don't need to see it, thanks. Don't need to see it. But that's exactly how I feel about being on ships. I don't know how you thought that ships and soju was going to be a good combination, bro. Oh? But maybe your drunken mishap might end up giving us who's actually the traitor. Indeed, what are you doing with the drone, as you call it? Yeah, isn't it? You were just looking with a screwdriver? I'm sorry, but I'm just not believing that. That man can't be more than 60. You don't know what drones are? They've been around since the 70s. Yeah, maybe get some sleep. That man's about to kill you. Toss your ass overboard. I told you I didn't trust the captain. Yep. Sorry, bro.
최이사, 나야 박 선장. 선장님, 잠도 안 자고.
Is he gonna kill He's gonna kill everybody except for Juno, isn't he?
갑판을 때리는 소리였나 봐. 이거 봐, 엉망이잖아.
Quick on his feet with the lines. Thank God this guy's an idiot. Just go away. Yeah, please go back inside and go to sleep, or you're gonna go overboard too.
42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48.
So they only lost 2.
내일 투표는 우리가 유리하네요.
They're gonna kill you. What do you? Okay. Yeah, people dying tonight. It ain't over.
다들 마음 바뀌면 안 됩니다.
Forget not changing your mind. You need to survive the night.
무조건 나가는 겁니다. 알았죠?
They're gonna kill at least one of y'all, or 2 actually. You see how Gian is not at all calm? He already knows. Those 3 Kung Pei right there. 30 minutes to figure out how y'all gonna try to survive.
11분
그년도 맑게 알아들었으니까 이제 별 문제 없을 겁니다.
You think so, huh?
끝까지 잘 감시해.
Yeah. She's plotting. I know she is, and I'm glad. I hope whatever she's plotting is painful. Because y'all really have a nerve. Not the special game. The Pinks are going to be involved in this one too? The way it just hit me that even the door numbers were triangles. I was like, good attention to detail.
저쪽에서 우리를 공격할 겁니다.
Yep.
정말요? 우리를 죽이면 투표도 이기고 상금도 쌓을 수 있으니까요.
Yep. It's a win-win for them.
차라리 먼저 칩시다. 우리 쪽에 여자랑 나이 든 사람이 더 많잖아요. 공격을 당하면 불리해요.
This is some assumption that women can't fight. Number 11 can take all you out without breaking a sweat.
어떻게든 여기서 나가야죠. 기훈 씨도 그랬잖아요.
The mental
이제 더
games
이상
again.
침착하게 할 땐 지났다고.
What are you willing to do to get out?
그게 바로 그놈들이 원하는 겁니다.
그놈들?
Who is they?
그리고 우리가 이 게임을 하는 걸 지켜보는 놈들. 우리가 싸워야 한다면 그놈들과 싸워야 합니다.
But how do we get to them?
그놈들이 어디 있는데요?
They're nowhere near here, bro. At least not yet.
검은 가면을 쓰고 있는 자가 대장입니다.
Is he?
그놈을 잡으면 우리가 이길 수 있어요.
He's right in front of you, bro. And he's not even the boss.
어떻게 싸울 건데요?
Yeah, exactly. Tell me your whole plan, Gian. Please.
그분들은 총이 있어요.
Talk more.
우리도 총으로 싸울 겁니다.
총이 어디?
I was about to say, this math isn't mathing, Gian.
그 가면들한테요?
Do you know of any other guns, bro?
밤새 서로 죽고 죽이면서 나만 살아남길 바랄 겁니까?
That's kind of what he was hoping for.
정말로 그게 영희 씨가 원하는 겁니까?
Turn the tables.
저놈들이야말로 우리가 먼저 공격할 거라고는 예상하지 못하고 있을 테니까요. 우리가 이 게임을 완전히 끝낼 수 있는
You're so
마지막
naive,
기회입니다.
Gian. You're still so naive.
싸움이 일어나면 기회가 올 겁니다.
Would have actually been a half-decent plan if you didn't have a traitor among you.
다노스 개 병신 같은 새끼. 사람을 존나 무시하고 있어. 씨발.
Yeah, and you were still right up his ass. That's on you, bro. You stick around with somebody who treats you like ish. That says all that I need to know of what you think of yourself.
무슨 일 생겨도 절대 나서지 말고.
He's like, you care about me? Eno is a straight up sociopath, man. I don't know what to tell Juno. His brother, whoever he knew his brother to be, that man died a long time ago.
우리를 공격하려는 놈들에게 먼저 발각되면 안 됩니다.
You really walked right over the light, the shine, showing that you're on your way. Okay. Minsu, if you don't get your dumb ass down.
그러면은 우리 X 쪽이 많이 불리할 것 같은데.
That was going to be the case
우리가 다
regardless,
싸움에서
unfortunately. And not just because of the women, but older people.
우리가 싸움에 끼어들었다가 우리 중에 몇 명이 죽거나 다치기라도 하면 계획이 다 풀어질 겁니다.
Look at homie is looking like, how can I sabotage this?
대의를 위해서 작은 희생은 감수하자는 건가요?
Ooh, the morals are getting shifty.
이번 기회를 놓치면 더 큰 희생을 치르게 될 겁니다.
Interesting.
지금 희생을
You see the
치르더라도
smirk? Do you see the smirk? You know, it's like,
반드시
got
이
him.
게임을 끝내야 합니다.
Finally got this moral warrior to crack.
그렇다면 전 기훈 씨 뜻에 따르겠습니다.
How are you? Yeah, he's like, yeah, as long as you're in this mud with me. What you gonna do, Minsu?
세민아.
This mofo decided to die a while ago. I know it, actually. Wow, Minsu. Truly a useless to the end.
합니다.
Is this real or are we imagining this right now? If that's real, damn, bro, you are savage. You killing your employees? Not this 18 music going on right now. Not so fun to be part of the game, is it? Okay. Kyungju said on my 6. Damn, they said if you can't make the gate, it's down for you. Oh no.
이 개새끼들! 안 됩니다. 비켜요. 당신 눈에는 이게 안 보여요?
He does.
이러면 우리도 저 가면 쓴 놈들과 다를 게 없어요.
And sadly no better than those guys who killed all these people.
우리 여러분을 해치려는 게 아닙니다.
죽은 가면들
모두 나와주세요.
총과 탄창을 수거해 주세요.
드릴 말씀이 있습니다.
Back in the military mode. Man knows what he's... Ooh! Oh, Hyunju! 11 don't miss, man. She don't miss!
이제 우린 저 계단 위에 있는 가면 쓴 놈들의 본부로
He's
가려고
not gonna
합니다.
be up there because he's with y'all.
우리 이곳을
Look at...
가둔 놈들을
Inno's trying so hard not to laugh. He's like...
죄값을 치르게 할 겁니다.
But see, the Zeros want the money in the pig, though.
총기를 다룰 줄 아는 분들 중에서 저희와 함께 가실 분들은
You're gonna trust the Zeros? Sorry, Gian, but that's not smart. I'm not trusting a single O. Oh, he's listening to his wife now, huh?
같이 싸워서 같이 집에 갑시다.
They don't want to go home. I mean, the exes do, but... I'm assuming, like, the exes should all be up there, to be perfectly honest. I understand the circle's not wanting to, because they want the pig. They're like, y'all go and get yourselves killed so we can take the pig. I don't blame her. She's thinking that this is a suicide mission, and she may not be wrong.
소주 한 잔 사세요.
Inno is diabolical.
이 탄창을 결합하고 위쪽 손잡이를 당겼다가 놓으면 장전이 됩니다. 아시겠습니까?
Honey, the O's are like, huh?
잘 알아요?
Military bitch.
엄마 아빠가 너 이러고 다니는 건 아시냐?
Does your daughter know what you're doing?
얘네 대장이 있는 곳으로 우리를 안내해.
You think he's seen the captain? Minsu, don't. I can't with you. Please go cower someplace like you are. This happy voice. Please go to bed in all the carnage.
집에 가도 꿈에 나올 것 같지?
Exactly. It's like this voice is not comforting in the least. Cover her! No grenade launchers in this B? Good job, stuntman or woman. They have way more ammo than you.
올라갑시다.
It's cute how you think they actually care about this pink guy. Like, they don't. Smart. I was about to say, loot. Sorry. Video game now. I mean, honestly, I'm 1000% against the mandatory draft in any country, but in this particular situation, it's very helpful that all these men have military training, at least basic military training.
뭐 하는 거야?
통과하려면 마스크가 있어야 돼.
He's not lying. That would be me, just no idea if I'm shooting at anything. Junbei looks like he's about to pass out. So many doors. Sir, stop wasting bullets. Pull your gun in right now. Pull your gun in right now. Wasting ammo for what? Yeah. Fuwa. Fuwa. Of course you're empty. Thank you. If you're not gonna shoot properly, just stay down. That man's gonna shoot himself. I get it though. Like, I would be no better. I just... Junbei he's actually pretty quick on his feet.
내 집을 알 걸 뭐냐?
그래도 네가 내 친구잖아.
Smart.
이 새끼는 급할 때만 친구해.
That's the way it goes, though. What's interesting, though, is that soldier recognized Ino. And I mean, I thought they weren't supposed to take their... But I guess they do take their masks off between each other.
이제 어느 쪽으로 가지?
Great question. This place is a freaking maze. Nobody left in the control room. Damn. Where are the triangles? I just realized they were dispatched. We haven't seen them yet. Woo! But that stuntman, that could have... I'm sure it wasn't that far, but that looks cool. So, do they have a lot of backup staff? Or... Because that's a lot of people they've lost now. That's a decent amount of their pink workers.
컨트롤룸 찾았다. 무대가 올 때까지 좀만 더 기다려봅시다.
Honestly, you're good where you are unless they're moving towards you. Grossly outnumbered, guys, and they got more ammo than you. Think you need a better plan than this.
난 반도 안 남았어. 전 없어요.
Of course it is.
나도 얼마 없어요.
He didn't even check.
아우 우리 둘이 잘안 돼요. 지원 좀 보내줘.
Ammo from where?
여기도 탄약이 부족해요.
Ill-conceived plan.
저랑 먼저 하실 분. 제가 할게요. 저도 하겠습니다. 갑시다.
Stay low. Very low.
최대한 빨리 돌아올 테니까 그때까지만 버텨주세요.
You know. Bro, I don't know. Maybe you're better at running.
이거 가져가요. 가는 길에 가면들이 있을 수도 있어요.
He cannot shoot for...
감사합니다. 5만 줄 테니까 빨리 가요.
Yeah, Palika! This is the perfect situation for Ino to take these two out. Yes, please. We're gonna need your trauma to be suppressed for the moment, sir. I feel like Deo's not making it, bro. Yeah, you got nothing, bro.
정부야,
At this point, you might as well throw the gun at them.
그러면 탄창이 필요해.
He's not wrong. I'm just so curious as to how far Ino is gonna let this go. Why he's letting it go this far. Or if this was all part of it. Yeah, I don't like that he's putting them in front of him. Just shot that man's dead ass. Ooh. That MacGyver move, though.
나보다 먼저 죽으면은 나한테 죽을 줄 알아 너.
엄마 너보다 오래 살
I
테니까.
love those nonsensical phrases. If you die, I will kill you.
내가 탄창 가져올 겁니다.
What is going on in Ino's mind? This is so crazy to me. Like, how far is he letting this go? I do believe he's enjoying this in his own little twisted way. He's about to die, isn't he? Damn. The fight or flight is kicked in fully and now it's down to flight. I can't blame him. This is so traumatic in so many ways. And the magazines now, right? It's rough, but I feel like y'all should have noticed that that man was not the one for the job. The way he was shaking like a leaf before he even left, like, and it's, again, no judgment. Most of us would be absolute shells of ourselves in that situation. It just sucks that he had to crap out at the last minute. He got that far. I feel like he's gonna let these two die. Because they've been red shirts this whole show. We don't even know who these guys are. Knew it. Yep. I guess this is as far as he's gonna let it go.
우리도 당했어. 여기 씨, 무슨 일이에요? 괜찮아요?
Guess he's ready to head back to his suite. You are diabolical, Inho!
여기 씨, 여기 씨.
Sir, enough. Enough. He's a twisted mofo. He's in the fetal position in the corner. Please leave him alone. Just grab the magazines and go. Don't worry about him. He's safe now. Later. But it's too late. You may as well stay where you are, Yeonju. Yeah. It's too late now. Oh man, this is not the time to go out in a blaze of glory, girl. Yeah, it's not gonna work. You're just gonna die. Yeah, this is not the way. You did not know you had a spy among you the whole time. Oh, is the dad gonna die? Unless Triangle saves him. 11 might save him.
아래로 후퇴합시다.
Yeah, you should.
어떻게든 살아야죠.
Yeah, you have a daughter, bro. At least try. I don't know that they won't kill you, but you should at least try. Oh, Gianchi, it was definitely a nice idea, but I've been saying since the get-go, you've never thought this through fully. It was an ill-conceived plan. Ballsy, but ill-conceived. Is this 11?
제발 살려주세요. 제 딸이 많이 아픕니다.
All right. That might have been 11 who did it. Oh no, he's gonna let Gian live. He wants Gian to see this. Or not. I don't know. Never know. Maybe they might kill him. Oh yeah, he had to make sure he put the costume back in just so he could be like, oh, you thought you could win. What's up?
영웅놀이는 재밌어 나. 잘 봐. 네 영웅놀이의 결과가 어떤 건지.
I was about to say, killing him's too easy. You knew he's gonna die one way or another. Yep, I told you let him live. I'm like, that's more diabolical than just killing him. Sorry, bro. I'm really sorry, but a reality check has been needed for a minute. At least he did it quickly. He really could have made that worse. Could have sent him to have his organs harvested while he was still alive.
390번 타이머.
All right, is that it? For real, for real? Let's just check and see if we got any ending scenes. These are some long ass credits. Oh wait, or maybe not. All right, I think that is literally it. Just double checking, because sometimes I'd be missing these end scenes. All right, okay guys, well, we know what the episode title was about, friend or foe, right? That was, of course, the wolf in sheep's clothing that has been there pretty much since after the first game. And yeah, it sucks. It sucks to have done so much and feel like he came so far for it to fall apart. But the sad reality is that I think a lot of us in the audience knew that this was never going to be a plan that succeeded the way that Gian thought. I've been saying since the get-go, and I want to make sure that I'm clear, because I feel like maybe people might think that I'm saying, you know, Gian shouldn't try or anything like that. That's nothing like that. I think that Gian's heart is in the right place. I understand why he wants to do this. He's not wrong to want these games to end. But I've been saying since the get-go that his understanding and mindset of how big this game is has never been on par with the reality. And I get it. He couldn't possibly know, right? Because the first time he went through the games, he was so focused on survival, there was no time for him to think about anything else. But he's had 3 years. 3 years. And to me, it's like, this is the time I feel like he really should have been contemplating and figuring out the potential of how big this game really is. Again, he didn't have a lot of sources to go to find out more, right? He found out a bit from Ilnam, but even on his deathbed, Ilnam was protecting the people that financed his endeavors to help this game, right? Ilnam wasn't giving Gian all the secrets to the kingdom. He told him enough, you know, as much as he wanted to, because he felt some type of way about him, but he wasn't going to give everything up. Even on his deathbed, he protected that because he enjoyed it, right? Like a lot of these rich oligarchs that are financing this, they enjoy it. They get a sick, twisted pleasure out of this. So he didn't want to give enough information for Gian to do anything about this. It was just enough to kind of let him know, like, yeah, I'm just giving you a little, I'm tossing you a little bone because I don't mind you, because I feel like we created a weird bond in the game. That's it. But anyway, point being, Gian looked at it as he thinks the games are isolated to that island and those little games and the people that are on the island right there, right? And then he doesn't even know about the VIPs. Right? He doesn't even know about the VIP. He didn't see the other side. He knew. The fact that he sat there in this episode and told them all that they're being watched by the pink people, and he thinks that's who's watching the games. Why the hell would the people in pink care about the game? Just think that through for a minute. Why would the people who are working effectively in this game give a good God, like what? And I feel like, again, maybe that was reinforced because when he met Gong Yu's character back in episode 1, we saw that Gong Yu, like his character, I don't want to say he derived direct pleasure from what he was doing, but he definitely didn't have any remorse. You know what I'm saying? Like he was very much like, yeah, I'm cut out for this job. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do, right? And I feel like Gian just assumed that all of these people in pink and all the people who are working within the game, that they were all just twisted people who enjoyed watching the game. Like, no, I said this back in episode 1. You're sitting there talking about Gong Yu being a dog to a master. It's like, bro, they're all dogs to masters that you haven't even begun to conceive of yet. Even the front man is not the guy running the game. Not really. He's just making sure the game runs smoothly. That is his job, is to oversee the game. But he's not the creator. He's not the one backing it. He doesn't have the power to stop it. He's on a leash, just like everybody else. But Gian never saw that part. And this is where, unfortunately, he and Juno really should have talked more and kind of comparing better notes, because I feel like they just kind of jumped right into the plan, right? As soon as they found Gong Yu's character, they were like, yeah, we're on it. We need to get back there. And it's like, no. We needed to sit and talk and compare notes. And, you know, just like Juno said to Gian, like, I've seen things. I saw sides of the game you didn't see because I was on the pink side of it. If they had compared notes, maybe, because I say maybe because Juno also has a fairly small view of how big this is, they might have started to understand that this is a lot bigger than just that island and the people on that island. But unfortunately, Gian, which understandably he's been waiting 3 years for this opportunity, he just wanted to get in so bad and do something about this, right? Because the guilt, the blood guilt, the survivor's guilt, all of that has been eating him up inside, and that's all he's focused on for 3 years, right? And that in itself was also super unhealthy. Like, he should have been trying to do other things. And again, I understand if he didn't want to spend the money. I get the guilt around spending the money, but there was other things he could have been doing in that time, things he should have been focusing on, as the fact that he was fortunate enough to survive, versus just dwelling on this thing he couldn't change, which is the fact that everyone already died, right? So anyway, coming back to this episode, we see that, you know, they let the bathroom fight happen, which I think we all knew was going to happen. They wanted, you know, this is what happened in the last season, right? They like to have them eliminate each other before they get into the next game. And it doesn't take out that many. I mean, effectively considering 5 casualties is pretty low, but I'm like, that can't be enough, right? Because in the last season, I think they lost at least 20 or 30 people from the night riots, right? So we see that, of course, when they come out, both sides are accusing each other of starting the fight. And of course, now they're like, okay, but who died? Like, what, you know, was it X's or O's that died? And so they did the head count. They realized the side that's for staying in the game, the O's, are actually down 3 people, where the ones that are against staying, the X's, are only down 2. So if they go with the vote as planned the next day, they're just going to be outnumbered, right? If no one changes their mind, they're going to be outnumbered. So of course, this is just the spark that the game master was hoping for to ignite the riots, right? Because they wanted it. They needed this kumbaya group to have a reason to fight each other. And this is all the more reason, right? So we're going into the night, and this is where, you know, Gian lets everybody know, because of course, you know, naively, the players are like, oh, we just got to wait out in the night. We'll vote in the morning, we get out. And Guillen's like, no, they're going to attack us. There's absolutely no doubt they're going to attack us tonight and try to even out the numbers, because it's a win-win for them, because if they kill us and they outnumber us, they win. But also the pot grows with everybody that they kill, because they saw it right after the people who died in the bathroom, the pot grew. So he's like, yeah, they're definitely going to attack. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no reason for them not to attack. And he's like, we need to prepare. And of course, he's like, well, what should we do? Because it's like, our side has more, and I hate that they keep labeling women as weak, but they said we have more women and elderly, so we're not going to be at a physical advantage against these people. And Gian's like, well, Young-il is like, oh, well, we should attack first then. Right? He just wants to kick the fight off, right? He's still trying to keep this game going from the inside. And Gian's like, well, I don't know if we should do that. Like, I don't want us to all die. That completely negates why we're trying to get out of the game. But we see that, you know, Young-il actually puts out a good point. He's like, we're at a good point in that no one's going to expect it from us. And honestly, that's probably our best advantage if we are the quote unquote weaker team. So through it all, we see that Gian's like, no, what we should do is go against, like, we're fighting each other, which is what they want. We should be going up and trying to get to the people controlling the game. Again, his small world view of thinking that it's all about frontman and the people in the control room. So he hatches the plan that they should take the weapons from the pink people when they come to check the carnage after the fights, and from there try to make their way up to the office, right? But from that point, we see that, you know, in his own twisted, diabolical way, starts asking him, like, what about, he's like, this plan seems a little interesting, Gian. He's like, based on what you're saying, we're gonna sacrifice people regardless, right? Like, you're asking us to all hide and allow the carnage to happen, allow a lot of people from our team to die so we can accomplish your goal of getting to the front man's, you know, control room and taking him out. Like, is it really, he's like, are you saying we should sacrifice some people for what you consider to be the greater good, right? And again, this is where Gian really should have stopped and thought about that question a little bit more, but he's just like, yeah, no, he's like, the sacrifice would be greater if we don't, right? And that's why I said it in the episode. I'm like, Gian, you're not even realizing the hypocrisy of what you're saying right now compared to what you were saying to Frontman in the limousine a few episodes earlier, right? In the limousine, you were talking about this is wrong. We're not just cattle. We're not cattle. We're not horses in a race. We're people. You can't just expend life like this, right? He kept sitting there again, trying to vilify the game and the people who created the game, you know, pushing all the blame for what happened on them. But now here he is in this position. He had the ability to tell everybody in the group to try and hide or do their best to try to protect themselves against the oncoming attack. But instead, he chose to sacrifice them so that he could get to his objective, which was to get his, well, let's face it, revenge on one hand, and then potentially stop the games. No guarantee. So it's like, so what is the difference, Gian, between the game saying that these people's lives are pawns for a game that they volunteered to be in versus you deciding that their lives are worth sacrificing for you to go up and potentially end the games? Right outside of the mindset of which one you consider to be more noble. Do you see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying, like, I know there's a difference. Obviously, letting people die for sport is never a morally good thing to do. But a lot of people would argue that sacrificing people for the sake of a greater good is not a morally good thing to do either. You get what I'm saying? So again, I have to say, Young-il / Ino, game master indeed. Game master indeed. The way that he's played this whole thing, the way he was studying Gian so closely from the second he entered the arena, all the things that he did, the way he kind of moved his chess pieces and waited to see what was triggering Gian, what his thinking was like. And in the end, he figured out that Gian very much has a hero complex, right? He really wants to somehow make himself the flawless savior of this whole thing. And I've been saying since episode 1 that the issue that Gian has had is that he's not doing enough self-reflection, because if he did, he would be going at this so different. I'm not saying he shouldn't try to stop the games. I agree, they're wrong. They should stop. However, if he had done more self-reflection into what got him in the games in the first place, understanding of the people who are in this, and also, sadly, the understanding that going into the games, and I know he didn't really plan to do that, like that wasn't his plan A to go back into the games, but just the understanding, like he kept failing to understand that people have the right to choose their path even if it's the wrong one, right? Like that's the reality. And that was him in season 1. He continued down this path because he still wanted that easy out, that quick win, even though it was the wrong way to go about it. His best friend, I can't remember his name from last season, the one that's with Sangwon, who ended up being the second to last to die. Same thing. He knew what he was doing was morally wrong, but he wanted the quick win, right? Like, this is the mentality that he had. And the fact that he's looking at these people and acting like they're crazy and he's so much more morally superior now. It's like, bro, you were here 3 years ago. You're not putting yourself in their shoes and recognizing that they don't have a valid reason to stop the games at this point. Coming from the belly, inside of the belly of the beast was not the way to go, because who are you, right? Who are you to tell them? You who went through the entirety of the game and benefited from it and, were able to do all the stuff that you did because you won. You're coming here and telling these people they're wrong for wanting to do the same thing. Do you feel me? And again, I know he's not proud of it. I know he regrets it, but it doesn't negate the fact that it happened. So just a lot of, again, Gian needs to do a lot of self-reflection. It's like, bro, you're in the same boat as them, you're just in a different lake. And so that's really what Gongyu was trying to tell him in the first episode. He's like, you keep trying to make me seem like you're so much better than me because I'm recruiting these people, right? He's like, but you were one of these people. Like, I didn't force you to join the game both times. I didn't do that. Those people in the park, I didn't force them to take the lottery ticket over the bread, right? As I'm giving people choices. Yeah, maybe they're not the greatest of choices, but they still have choices. We all have choices, right? Gongyu was trying to tell him in episode 1. The game master, Young-il, was trying to tell him the whole time, kept trying to point out these little micro hypocrisies of, really, that's the way you think? You really think that all these people are just crazy? You want the games to end and they don't want to keep going? And again, as I said, if he took more introspection, he would know that even those people in the pink jumpsuits, to the game master, everybody, they are all in the same boat as he was in one way or another, right? And if he had more of that empathy, he'd have a better idea of just how big this is and the better way to go about it is all I'm saying, right? He could look at different ways if he'd done that and been smarter about it, he potentially could have figured out a way to maybe get some of the pink people to work with him to start getting more information. But because he went in with so much self-righteousness, it left him with this pride, and this pride became his blind spot. And that's why he couldn't see Ino for what he was. And again, Ino played it well, don't get me wrong. But to me, especially in the last couple of episodes, Ino's mask was slipping hard. He wasn't even trying to be the happy-go-lucky sweet guy anymore. His expressions were sus as hell. The way he was looking at him half the time and just staring and giving him dirty looks, and that smirk after he asked him the question about, you're willing to sacrifice people for the greater good? That wasn't a smile of, oh, I'm proud of you. That was a smirk of, I got you. I finally got you where I want you. I got you really thinking that you're gonna win this stuff and that you're the good guy in this story, that you're the hero of this tale. And I'm about to humble the hell out of you. That's what I'm about to do. But again, Gian was so wrapped up his own self-redemption path, right? So that's really where, this thing failed from the get-go. That, and as I said, just not understanding more of the game. And so anyways, we see that they start out, they do the plan that Gian suggests, and they let people die, and then they take the guns and they start out, trying to forge the castle. And Gian again thinks that everyone's going to take up arms with him and they're all going to storm the castle. But understandably, all the people who are for the game are like, nah, why would we do that? Why would we do that? Right? Outside of the fact that we'll probably lose, the money's still there. We're going to walk away with nothing if that happens, because that's what's going to happen. Like, imagine, because that's one thing, you didn't even think about that. Let's say they all did take up arms and decided to go up there and they killed everybody in the building that wasn't them. What do you think was going to happen with that big pot of money that was sitting at the top? You think everyone's just going to go home and leave that? You think that the O's were going to just be like, yeah, okay, good moral day. Let's get on a boat and go home. No, they probably would have ended up killing each other again to get at that money. That's what would have happened. Like, Gian is just so short-sighted sometimes, it drives me insane. Bless him. I mean, like I said, heart in the right place, but just no sense of just thinking bigger. No sense of thinking bigger. That was his issue in season 1 as well. Sungwon was the person who really was who kept having to give him reality checks last season about the situation and just understanding things at a higher level. But anyways, they go through with that. They think they're going to get more people. They only get a handful of volunteers. It's not enough. It's not enough. And I feel like at this point, again, if Gian was not on his pride high, he would have realized this was not going to work out. But he feels like he's so close he can't give up. And he's got these people who are desperate to leave and have their reasons for wanting revenge. So they go and they follow him. And, it's not terrible to begin with. But honestly, like I said, as an audience, we know it's already doomed to fail because Frontman is with them. And they get pretty far. Gotta give them props. I mean, the military training and them actually falling into line and doing what they're supposed to do, it ends up being very helpful. But it's not enough. They are undermanned, they are underarmed, they don't have enough of anything, and there's just way more people on the pink side of things, not to mention the fact that they don't know the layout of the place, right? That alone was going to be a huge issue for them no matter what happened. But in the end, we know that, as I said, Frontman was really the thorn in their side. I kept looking and I was like, how far is he going to let this go? Because he's lost a lot of people, right? They lost, I don't even know how many pink people died. Like, it's a good chunk of them though. And like I said, I don't know if he's got like a backup or reserve of them, that just sit on a rotation just waiting to be pulled into the game. But I'm assuming he must have known the risk to let it happen, right? I think he was willing to let that happen because he must have known there's enough people to come in and replace them. I mean, besides this now, the numbers have heavily reduced, so they probably don't need as many people to man them. But still, he lets this thing go on for quite a while. And I keep wondering, because I said there's got to be a point that he's got to leave this game, right? Because he is the game master. He has to be in his office at some point. There's calls that are going to be made, and he's not been there for days now. So anyway, we see that after a pretty nasty battle, some of the people are dying. Some of the rebellion people are dying, and some people are crumbling mentally, namely not Junbei, what's his name? Deo. Sweet. I mean, like I said, I couldn't even be that mad at him, poor Deo. He really is trying to be brave. He really was trying to be all the things that they were hoping for him to be, but understandably, it's a lot. He's been through a lot in the last couple of days, and it's like all of it. I don't even think it was just what happened there. I think it was literally the compounding of everything that's happened since the first game just started to hit him in this moment, and seeing all the blood and seeing the bodies, and yeah, he went into straight full-on panic mode, fight or flight, and he just couldn't do it. He tried. He really, really tried, but as I said, it's easy for us to yell at him from the other side of the screen, but most of us, let's be real, if we were in that situation, we would be in the fetal position in the corner too, right? It's a lot to deal with, and I thought it was very interesting too. I feel like there's probably a little bit more there too, outside of just that, because remember when Hyunju came down and finally checked and saw him in the bunk, because he was thinking, oh God, something happened. And when he saw that he was there, when he ran up to him, the first thing Deo did was flinch, which is an interesting response because nobody in there has tried to hurt him, like as far as that group. So I feel like there's a little bit of PTSD from other things that came to light when all this happened, and unfortunately Daeho just couldn't hang. So yeah, I hope he's gonna be okay either way, but at least they didn't kill him. At least he being where he is, that saved his life. And then we see that Hyunju was gonna try to go back, but then of course by then the jig was up, and we see that Helmani was like, nah, don't do it, Hyunju. If you go out right now, you're gonna die. And it's not worth going out in a blaze of glory right now. Like, put the gun down, put everything away, and you might survive. And we saw that they were shooting a lot of the rebels, so I don't even know if Hyunju's gonna make it. I think they're gonna leave. I think I think they're gonna leave Hyunju alone, but we'll have to see. But either way, but yeah, we see that it just doesn't work out. It's bloody, it's terrible, and we see that whatchamacallit. So we see that Gian and Junbei get pretty far in, but when they get to to the control room, that is like they're not letting him in, right? They're not letting them get another inch, and they're running out of ammo. It's only the two of them, and I thought it was a very interesting moment where, because on their way there, Junbei asks Gian, like, why did you take me with you for this mission to go to the control room? You could have taken Young-il, who is clearly very skilled, and they've been kind of back and forth like the planners of this whole thing for a while now. And we hear Gian say, you're my friend, right? You're my friend. And I feel like that was kind of an indication, like obviously it was true. He's known Junbei for years, but I also think though that there's still part of Gian's gut that doesn't trust Young-il, which he should have listened to a lot more. But again, like I said, that pride, that blind spot created by his pride, he wasn't able to see it. But anyways, I thought that was interesting that he brought that up, but obviously it was also to add emotional weight to what happens later on. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting that he still kind of didn't trust Young-il fully, and he wanted someone he knew would have his back no matter what. And so yeah, that's actually what happened. The two of them worked really well together actually, and they were doing quite well until of course Young-il / Ino decided it's time for this game to end. We need to stop this. Like, he had to make sure that it was something where he really wants to break Gian's psyche, right? This was never about just stopping Gian. He could have stopped Gian at any point, right? The way things were set up, he could have easily gotten Gian killed at any point in this game and no one would have known the difference, but he didn't want to do that. He wants to break Gian mentally. He wants to, like Gian said in that limousine, oh, I'm going to show you that things are going to go your way. He was like, okay, I'm going to prove to you that you're not looking at this nearly as seriously as you should be. And so that's what this is all about from episode 2 on, when he joined the game. This is all about breaking Gian, and not only just because he wants to kind of show Gian that he doesn't understand the gravity of all this, but I also think it's his own way, right? Because all the people who are part of this game, the people who become game masters, etc., they all have to do things to justify the absolutely inhumane things they're doing, right? I said in episode 1, Gong Yu, dehumanizing them, calling them trash, calling them useless, all these things, right? Having things you have to say in order to make it okay to do these things that are wrong. Here's Ino, who's been doing god-awful things for God knows how long, and now standing at the top of all this, overseeing it game after game after game, right? So he too has to find a way to justify what he's doing and make it okay that he's sitting by and letting all this happen. So seeing someone like Gian come up and try to rise above and act like he's better than him, that probably pricked some of what's left of Ino's conscience as well. So he kind of wants to drag Gian into the mire with him. He kind of wants to break that how dare you think you're better than me spirit that he's got going on, right? So anyway, we see that eventually Young-il decides to end it. And as soon as he said he was going to go off on his own with the two other people, I knew that was it. He's like, he's done. He's done playing along. And I said it, like, he's going to have to let this stop at some point because a lot of people are dying on the game side of things. And that can't be good for the investors to be seeing. So he goes and he plays it very well. He makes it seem like the two people that went with him got killed by the other side. And then of course he fakes his death. Very well played. Like the way he did the whole, oh, they got us, and then used the dying sounds of the other guy. Like, I was like, that was diabolical and smart, but diabolical. And yeah, that's it. He no longer has to be present in the remainder of the game. And now also, I think he just wants to sit back and watch his handiwork. But as I said, he's still the game master. He's got to get back to work. He's been off for like 3 days. So yeah, that happens. And then of course, over everything, Gian hears from all the different fronts, like, we're out of ammo, we have no, like, we're losing people, it's time to surrender, like, we can't do this, we're gonna die. And so Gian decides to surrender, and we see that a lot of the people who are left in, in the staircase, etc., they're all taken out, including the dad. And again, it was a triangle that shot him, and I keep wondering, like, we know 11 is out there, so I wonder if 11 was the one to take him out. But 11 could also be somebody who, depending on how she shot, because we only saw from the back, it definitely looked like he got shot in the chest. I think we spent too much time for them to just take him out like that. And again, triangle, she knows about the organ donation ring, so she could have potentially shot him in a way that wouldn't kill him, because we know she's got the skills to miss vital organs. She might have shot him to incapacitate him and then know that he's going to be marked to go into the organ donation and maybe try to save him at that point. But I don't know if she's going to go to those lengths. But they keep kind of going back to her and this whole thing, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was something that they do. But if he does in fact die, it could be because she's planning, when she gets out here, she's gonna go and take care of the little girl. Kind of dark, but I could see it. I don't know. One of those two things I think might go down, but digressing. So the surrender happens and we see that Frontman makes his appearance. He took that time while they were surrendering to somehow quick change, presto changeo into his outfit and show up. And he basically said, oh, did you enjoy playing hero? Again, like another game. And then he's like, this is the consequences of you playing hero. And he takes out Junbei right in front of him. And make sure that they have enough time to make eye contact and really let it sink into Gian that this is happening again, that his longtime friend is gonna die right beside him. And yeah, understandably, Gian is shattered by this because he feels like this is his fault. But I mean, in the end, the sad reality is we knew that the way it was gonna go, even if he'd managed to make it through this game, Junbei was probably not gonna make it regardless. But yeah, honestly, because we know that Gian's whole thing was that he really thought they were gonna get out of there alive, and it didn't happen. Once again, someone close to him gone, and in this case, of course, it's framed to look like it was directly Gian's fault. So Frontman got what he wanted. He wanted to really break Gian's spirit, and I wouldn't be surprised when we get back into season 3 that Gian is probably going to be pretty disheartened, pretty out of it, at least for a while. But the difference being now that unlike the first game, there's going to be more people, I think, that are going to work to try to bring him out of that funk. But yeah, I was kind of wondering for a second, you saw in the episode, of whether or not Frontman would just take him out at this point, but that wouldn't be any fun, right? Frontman is definitely a sociopath. He enjoys this stuff, and yeah, killing Gian would be too easy. Much more fun to watch him deteriorate through the game instead. At least he hopes that's what's going to happen. So that's where we left it for, the game side of things. They're going to have to clean up and I guess reset for the rest of the games. And then on the outside, we see that there was very little once again, but we see now that the verification of what I feel like the show was making it pretty clear, but the verification of what I've been saying since episode, 2, that I don't trust the captain. And yeah, the captain is definitely working for the whole thing. He's definitely been keeping his eye. And my guess is probably, now that I'm thinking about it, Ino probably hired him to go and look for Juno because he knew he didn't kill him. He knew he didn't shoot him to kill him. So he probably sent that dude out there, Captain Park, to find him, look for his body and take him back home and then keep an eye on him to see whether or not he was going to continue pursuing him. And he was right, he did. And I think that's exactly it. Captain Park has been purposefully taking him on circles and keeping him away from the truth so that he would just make sure he never got close enough to actually, revisit this whole situation. So anyway, we see that on the ship that one of the military guys, he woke up in the middle of the night and saw that Captain Park was messing with the drone. So he's probably been doing that for a while. I don't know what he'd be doing, if he's doing something to wreck their sensors or I don't know, or maybe he just wanted to break it so they wouldn't be able to use the drone. Because my guess is they're actually pretty close to the island right now. So anyway, he sees them doing that and dude is like, no, this is weird. Like, you're acting like you have no idea what a drone is, but you're out here with a screwdriver quite meticulously and skillfully taking it apart. Not adding up. Even in my drunken brain, I can tell something's off there. But unfortunately, he kept pushing and Captain Park said, you know what? I don't need this noise. And I got the perfect cover. Takes him out, tosses him overboard before anyone can say anything. So I don't know what he's going to do. I'm assuming he's going to have to make up something to the crew saying something like, well, he was drunk. He was drunk. So he's probably going to say something like he got drunk and probably fell overboard. We'll see if that flies though, because these are supposed to be highly trained men. So the likelihood of that just happening is pretty minor, but we'll see how it goes. But either way, we now have our confirmation on the audience side that the outside crew is being sabotaged. So it'll come down to whether or not Juno finally starts to pick up on the fact that Park is just not right. And I've noticed that from the get-go, but we'll see. We'll see whether or not he can get past his affection for the man that saved his life to finally see that he's being played and what's he going to do about it. Because I feel like Park has definitely been in contact with the island. So someone's just got to catch him, I feel like. And we see that the bumbling guy almost got him. But thankfully, he's so simple that Captain Park was able to spin him about pretty easily. And it didn't cost him his life. So that's where we're at. We ended the season now with, unfortunately, the internal games kind of being to the point where they're going to continue, at least going into season 3. We'll have to see what happens as far as the Gian situation and whether or not he's able to pull back from this pretty embarrassing loss. And then on the outside, they're still spinning their wheels currently with no hope of changing that until they figure out that there's a spy, who the spy is. So they know there's a spy, they just don't know who it is yet. Hopefully they'll figure out that it's Park sooner than later. But yeah, I feel like this season was good, guys. I've been hearing some people saying that they felt like maybe it was too hyped up, but I feel like it's been 3 years, right? It's not going to be the same as, if it had been released within 6 months to a year after, like the way that Netflix typically puts these types of shows out. But I think this was really good, especially considering that the way the first season ended, there wasn't a whole lot of room for a second second season, in the sense of everyone we got to know died in season 1, you know what I mean, outside of Gian. So I think they did a good job of creating a premise for continuing into another season and even another 2 seasons here. I mean, I heard season 3 is it, and I feel like that makes sense because this is not the kind of thing that it's either going to be at the end of season 3, they actually do find a way to at least end the games happening in Korea, or they realize that they just can't end this, right? And that's what I kept saying, is that this goes so high. This game is not just this little island and the people in it. It goes up God knows how many levels, and to stop it would take way more than Gian and Juno and a handful of people on a boat. Let's be real. It's so much bigger than all of that. So I feel like we're going to get an ending of something like they're going to end the games in Korea maybe, but then they're going to discover that it's so much bigger than that, that it's global. But anyway, we'll have to see when season 3 comes out, which I'm going to be looking forward to. But I enjoyed this a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this season along with me and my long-winded, sometimes long-winded commentaries after them. I appreciate you if you stayed at the end of them. I really, really do. But that's it for this season. I will be reacting to season 3, so if you have not subscribed, please do join the fam so that you can be notified when I'm getting ready to do that. And if this is all that you've watched from me so far, I do hope you can find something else in my catalog to enjoy, because I'd love to continue this journey with you. And for the rest of you, thank you so much for your support, and I will see you in the next video.